Hello everyone, I'm excited to present Portrayal, an interactive system that uses NLP and visualization for analyzing character traits in a story. In this video, I'll first present different components of Portrayal. I'll then present a few interesting insights and results from our user study. After loading the web page, the tool shows a list of preloaded stories. Let's click on Persuasion by Jane Austen from the list and see what happens. It will open up an interface. On the right hand side of it, there is a text editor where one can read the story. On the left side, there are two drop downs. Let's look at the first one named Features. The drop down defaults to the option Presence. Let's click on the Show Traits button. This visualization in the middle shows the number of mentions for each character in the story. Each cell shows the number of mentions for a character in a chapter. The brighter the color, the higher the presence of the character in that chapter. The length of a cell shows how long a chapter is. On hovering over each cell, we show the character and chapter name in a pop-up. We also highlight the characters that co-occur with the selected characters in the chapter. Notice the text editor moves to relevant chapter by hovering over a cell. To investigate a chapter critically, a user can click on a cell. In that case, the cards show the sentences of the chapter. One can interact with these cells using mouse hover. On hover, the corresponding sentence is highlighted with bold text. The character that we hovered over is highlighted with a light blue background. Let's get back to the drop downs one more time. We can select the characters of choice from the drop down. We can select multiple trait indicators from the list. For example, we can select presence and direct discourse together and visualize them. The trait indicators are visualized in separate views aligned vertically. The views are synchronized, meaning interaction with a cell in one view will highlight the relevant cells in the other view. In this way, we can investigate the indicators in any combination. Let's see some new insights and results that emerge from the user study. Participant 11 analyzed a short story written by her. She wanted to see how the sentiment of the characters had changed in the story. To do so, she selected the sentiment indicator. This story did not have any explicit chapters, so the visualization defaults to a single chapter. She uses the smooth option in the sentiment view to see the change. She was reassured to see the change matched her intended arc for the lead character. The lead character was sad at the beginning, then slowly became joyful in the middle, and finally became sad again at the end. P7 investigated the emotion indicator and found that his characters had interleaved joy with sadness, which was not intended. He also noticed the lack of overlaps between the timelines, indicating some characters did not have interactions with each other. Based on these insights, he decided to revise some parts of the story. P10 investigated the adjectives and actions in the interface. He found that an important character had a small number of adjectives and actions. He decided that the character has more room for development. Similarly, literary scholars reported many insights from the study. P2 and P12 found Jane Austen's use of direct speech very interesting. For example, in chapter 21, Anne Elliot and Mrs. Smith talk privately about Mr. Elliot. Thus, we see that there are lots of mentions of Mr. Elliot in this chapter, but no speech from him. Participant mentioned that the design of such passive interaction between characters was rare at the time and motivated literary styles in the 20th century. P2 and P12 suggested that Portrayal will help them communicate this literary style with concrete evidence. P4 found that the actions are useful to obtain an overview of a character. Here we see the word cloud for Alice in Wonderland. Similarly, P9 found the changes in actions indicator useful to understand how the actions change throughout the story. This indicator helps in understanding the character arc. For more details, results, and discussions, please see our paper. Thank you.